All right. If you could just give me three of your favorite things about the treatment center, or three of like the best highlights about the treatment center, just to go ahead and kind of wrap things up a little bit. What would you
Oh,
say?
awesome. I think I can do this. So all institutions, whether it's a hospital or school, even a jail, right? Those are all institutions. They've got some basic components. They all have some things in common. I learned this in sociology when I was in high school. So the first thing would be the physical plant, right? It's got to be clean, it's got to be safe, it's got to be stimulating. So either in Atenas or in San Jose, the finishes, the carpeting, the paint on the walls. You mentioned near you there's some programs that show some wear and tear. This would not be the case here. And if you're in an environment that shows wear and tear, it actually affects your self-esteem. So self-esteem is boosted. The colors are light. The environment is pretty, and you can tell by looking at it that someone took the time to invest money, for example, in quartz countertops and all the right fixtures and plumbing. So you feel good about being in a place. I'm not saying you're going to be in the Ritz, but you're not going to be in a Days Inn either. Secondly, is the staff, and that's probably if I had to gauge them by the order of importance, I should have mentioned staff first. Probably 80% are in recovery. They are all SMART certified. And do yourself a favor and take a look at the website again and their staff. You're just going to see a lot of MDs and PhDs. You're going to see a lot of master's level people. You're going to see everybody with some type of chemical dependency counseling certificate. Some of them are brought from the States, some are international, but they all are invested with their heart in this. So when they deliver a service, just like Jamel said, this is not a job for him. It's not an adventure for him. He's doing this because it's personal. I think you would find all the staff share that too. And then the last thing would be is the treatment philosophy. How do they approach the disease of addiction? And because they don't approach it with a cookie cutter mentality, they don't say, here's your big book, go sit in a corner, thank you for your $9,000 or your $5,000, whatever it is. And I've seen programs do that too. Oh, by the way, here's a list of meetings. Make sure you get a sponsor and bring me this meeting list every week. That's not really enough to cut it, I think, for a lot of people. The holistic approach and the mindset that in the end everyone's going to leave this program and have to deal with life on life's terms. If that's your goal going into it, then you're more likely to achieve that goal once someone's exited the program. So that's my 120-second rundown of the three most favorite things. I was
Wow,
prepared for that question.
Mike, that was an amazing answer for your favorite three things about the treatment center. That was great. You hit the nail on the head with that one. That
Right.
was good. Lorenzo Jones from Pendleton Recovery Coaching, and this is Jamel Freeman.
Yes, sir. Jamel Freeman. Just connected with Lorenzo, a certified peer recovery support specialist, as well as a bachelor's in social work intern. Specializing, my major is going to be in substance abuse disorder. This is a program they actually just started in Salisbury, so I'm going to be applying for my master's here soon. Just published a book as well based off my lived experience with substance abuse. So my father was a Master Chief of the Navy 20 years. He died by suicide, and he was an alcoholic as well. He never used to drink until he went in. I believe going over to the war over there in Afghanistan was a part of that because he never used to drink until he went in. So this is personal for me. This isn't a job or an occupation or just just to get by. I want to help others with this worldwide health issue.
I appreciate that. So I guess I'll take a second to check in and give you guys and everyone else, I guess your viewers, your clientele, a little background about me. So I'm in this business because I went to rehab. I went to rehab September 23rd, 1985. So today is 37 years, 11 months, and 1 day. So if I keep it together, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
If I keep it together 29 more days, I'll be 38 special. And I never thought that I would be in this business because my background was in finance and marketing and advertising, and I just didn't think that I would want to work for those wages, right? Everyone knows we're not making a lot of money doing this. And so what happened? Well, God had another plan for me, I suppose. And the treatment program that I went through ended up hiring me. And the minimum wage was $5 an hour. So I don't even know why I took that job, because I was making 80 grand a year, but I couldn't pay my bills. So there was big disconnect here, right? All my money went to the dope man. My rent was $350 a month. I couldn't pay rent. So there was, I'm this completely out of control person who needed to be in control of a completely out of control life. So I'll make a long story short. So I rose up through the ranks, ended up managing and actually owning some of my own inpatient-based and outpatient-based treatment programs from 88 until I think 2002. Then I get into other branches of medicine. And then recently, my wife and I were on a cruise and stopped in Punta Arenas, Costa Rica, to get off the boat and take a look around, eat some food. And we said, man, this is really a pretty place. And we did it again, came back from Lauderdale to LA through the canal, from LA to Lauderdale, back through the canal, stopped again. And we made a decision. Last year, we were in Decatur, Georgia, sold everything, the car, the TVs, my handmade leather cowboy boots, just whatever we owned, all that stuff. We put all of our life in suitcases, got on a boat, did some cruising in Europe, and made a transatlantic. And here we are. And I ran into some people at a local 12-step meeting. I saw, you kind of know when 14 people come in the room all at once, that's a treatment van, right? That's the center showing up. And so I clocked that, and I saw the staff. You kind of tell the difference between the staff and the clientele. And we struck up a conversation, and they let me know that we started chatting, and I let them know my experience. Anyway, they reached out to me and asked me want to help them do some outreach. So that's how I find your program. I jumped on LinkedIn, did a quick search for people who were recovery coaches and addiction intervention specialists, and sent a message to Lorenzo. Now, just a quick blurb about the program, and I'll let you guys ask me questions if you care to. The Costa Rica Treatment Center was started by a man who went through treatment 8 years ago, and he went obviously in a different facility here in Costa Rica. And he felt like, this is a great experience. It's changed my life. I think I could do this, but I think I want to do it better. So he felt like he would do that. He's a European real estate developer, so he had the resources to get a facility and make it pretty, build it out, hire some of the best staff that's in this country. If you take a look at the PDFs I sent you guys, there's one called Program Summary EN, which just stands in English. The other one is Riverside. That just opened. He's spared no expense. You have a beautiful physical plant, comfortable surroundings for the patient, safe surroundings for the patient. And here's their philosophy. I'll sum it up real quickly, and then I'll end this part of my little infomercial. Disease of addiction is something that affects mind, body, soul. And so when you put someone in a treatment program, you force them to give up drugs. They can always leave, I guess, and go get high. But if you don't speak Spanish, you're going to have a tough time getting around in Costa Rica. So it could get done. A dope fiend will find a way. There's no question about that.
Right.
And you have to also treat the spirit, right? That's kind of where 12 steps come into. That's also where yoga, breathing exercises, and some of the out-of-door activities that you'll notice on the PDFs that they do. They're going to the Turtle Island. They're going to, I think there's 2 volcanoes that they take a day trip to. So almost the minute that someone's through their detox phase, they run the patients through levels of care where first they take all of your decision-making capability away from you, and then they start giving back your decision-making capability a little bit at a time in a structured environment, understanding that, when it's all said and done, you've got to live a life on life's terms without the use of drugs. And that's why all of the structured activities to take place. I think you'll see maybe 12 different activities that someone would engage in. You might not do all 12 in a 30-day treatment stay, but if you stuck around, if you extended and you did 60 or 90, you would certainly involve yourself in all that. They also have a very strong commitment to 12-step process. So they're taking their clientele, they're taking their patients to local 12-step meetings, whether it's AA or NA. Everyone there is also SMART recovery certified. I bring that up because I see on social media. It's not anything that I know a lot about. It's not anything I incorporate as part of my own personal recovery, but I see on social media a lot of people, especially millennials, are having a real tough time with higher power, real tough time with God. You need another way to get your brain around this,
Right.
because we as a recovering community, we need to be inclusive. Everybody. The disease of addiction doesn't discriminate. We don't want to discriminate against anyone, no matter what your
Right.
beliefs are. So
Right.
And it's great that you
that's
have
why
professionals,
that's the case.
yeah, that are
I'm sorry.
certified. I said, and it's great that you have professionals that are certified in that to be able to, serve more people. So that's great.
Yeah, and I don't know if you had a chance yet, guys, to take a look at the website. All their staff are listed there. I think there's probably 5 MD levels. I think there's 8 MD and PhD levels. I think it's a total of 12 MD, PhD levels and master levels. So Jamel's going to go for his master's. I think there's at least one LCSW. There's a couple of MSWs. They're accredited by the International Association of Addiction Treatment Facilities. They're licensed by the local Ministry of Health. And Costa Rica's healthcare system is known to be the best in Central America. It's also known to be one of the best in this hemisphere. Their teaching colleges and their hospitals are some of the finest.
Wow.
So the San Jose facility is located near the embassy part of town. So it's not off in the places where there may be some nefarious stuff going on, but every big city's got that. So the patients are safe. They're also close to a couple of different big medical med-surg hospitals. In case there's a problem, their detox is done on site at the facility, but sometimes people aren't really all that honest about what they're using, how much they're using when they get on a plane, and they show up and they're a little sicker than you anticipate, and they may need a deeper level of care, a deeper level of supervision that you otherwise would have anticipated. So that's the introduction.
Yeah, and that's great to know that the treatment center is close to the U.S. Embassy and it's close to the hospital and everything, because a lot of times when people think Costa Rica, they might think that they might be in like a desolate location where there's nothing around them. So to know that, that's a great point.
Yeah, San Jose is the capital city. I can't tell you the population. I can only tell you it's a very safe country, very safe city. But just like if someone would go to Baltimore, and I've been to Baltimore a couple of times, there's places you can be, there's places you do not want to be. So it's the same here. It's the same here.
Yeah, Baltimore, that's right in our backyard.
That's what I heard.
Yep. So I know you have 2 locations for your treatment centers. Are both of them in San Jose, or where's the other one?
Oh, awesome question. So no, it started in San Jose 8 years ago. And it got to, there's 16 beds there, and it got to a point where the wait list was very long. It was running 2, 3, 4 months. And so the owner bought it went to a little town called Atenas. That's probably a 25-minute ride through some very beautiful roads and mountainsides you'll see. It's elevated, and it's a hotel formerly named Toucan Village. And I toured there, and there's some pictures of it on the second PDF I sent you. There are toucans that live nearby, and if you were there, you'd be on the patio, maybe near the pool, and see some very pretty colorful birds up in the trees. So that place has 10 beds. It's been completely renovated. It only opened, well, 2 Mondays ago. So it opened like the late July, I think, or maybe very early August. It was very early August. 10 beds, all private rooms, some with porches, some with not. So you'll see that the pricing, if you take a look at pricing, the pricing would differ a little bit between one setup or another. The main hallway, the main dining area, administrative area has been completely redone with a gym. There's a guitar there. All the administrative offices are there. It's a private room for detoxification. There's a nurse on staff 24 hours. A little different than some places. We'll have a nurse there maybe Monday through Friday, 8 to 6 or something, for sick call, for meds, what have you. They have someone there constantly. So they've leveled up their staff. Their staff to patient ratio is about 1.8 to 1. So with only 26 beds total, and probably somewhere around 45 staff, they run pretty good. Some of them do move from one place to the other. the different staffing, but there are permanent staff located in each one. And then, as I mentioned, it's actually the upper management that'll move around from place to place. The clinical director moves from place to place. So, yeah, so that's the deal on the two locations. My guess is that before too long, they'll probably plan a third location. But Tennis is beautiful. It's up in the mountains. I can't say enough cool things about it. I got to get back there and do some shopping at the local farmers markets and vegetable markets on the weekends.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
We do tours around here of the local treatment centers to kind of get a feel for what they're like. Man,
Sure.
we should take a trip out to Costa Rica.
I was actually sitting here thinking about that.
But
Yeah.
no, that's amazing. It's one thing to go to a treatment center that's been there for years, and it might have a little wear and tear, and especially like in our area, and like you mentioned in Baltimore, some of them might be a little, have a little wear and tear. But to have a brand new treatment facility, newly remodeled, and in a location like Costa Rica, man, that's just that's something. Yeah, that's amazing.
Do yourself a favor, jump on Google Maps and Google Atenas, Atenas, and take a look at Street View, Toucan Village. It'll blow your mind. I don't know if you've ever been to Hawaii or been to the Bahamas or any of these, subtropical places. The Bahamas is much different. That's like that's like a desert. There's a lot of sand, a lot of ocean there. But Hawaii, I compare Hawaii to Costa Rica, and Costa Rica is every bit as beautiful, but like 1/10 the cost. So, yeah, nice place. They obviously don't provide airfare, but they do provide transportation from the airport to the facility and back again. And if your agency was to be involved at all and a productive referral source, I'm pretty sure I'd be able to get them to help sponsor a trip. It's not that expensive to fly. I fly into Atlanta pretty regularly. I think if you fly Frontier and if you pack light, you can get it done for about $600 round trip.
Wow, man. Yeah, no, I haven't been to any tropical destinations like that. It's definitely on the bucket list, but
okay. Listen, you're so young. You should have a pretty big list, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear Jamel.
You got to
Okay. So thank you for taking this time out to meet with us. So a couple of questions, Mr. Allan. So do you need a passport to get there?
I'm sorry?
Do you need a passport?
Oh, yeah. Anytime you leave the country, you've got to have a passport. So what would happen was if you got someone, whether it be in your case or someone, a patient's case, the doctor here would write a letter of urgent medical need and be able to get the passport expedited. And we can also help you contact the embassy, Costa Rican embassy, probably in Baltimore. Or I'm sorry, you would go to the State Department in the U.S. My bad. But State Department in the U.S. and get an expedited passport. But otherwise, there's no visa. Someone can come and stay 90 days without having any issues.
Okay. No, because I was told, because like just from my uncles and them taking vacations and different things of that nature, I know certain parts outside of the country you don't need a passport, but you do. But I just wanted to make sure, in that regard, going forward as we continue to build and bring on other recovery coaches,
Okay.
we want to. You understand what I'm saying? So that way we can let them know what they need and how to go about that.
Yeah, check your information, though. I used to go to the Bahamas from Florida, and I only had to have was a driver's license. But after 9/11, all of that changed. So before you travel to any country, even on the maybe you can drive through Canada. If you're in New York and you'll just cross the border in a car for a short period of time, maybe that can happen. I don't know, but I know in the Bahamas they changed it up, and we went and got passports last year.
So and then also one of the things that I did like too, and when we get done and when you get time in your day, definitely would like to connect with you on LinkedIn as well.
Oh, sure.
If possible. But we were sitting here looking, and a couple of things that you said, even as I've learned in recovery, because like I'm at 3 years, 6 months, and a couple of days. I don't have it all the way down.
Put the app on your phone, man. Get the app for your phone. You'll know.
I know.
The minutes. You'll know everything.
It's funny because and this is my first time in recovery. I'm not new to the names. I'm just new to the process of it.
I got it.
what I've learned is mind, body, and spirit.
Okay.
Those three functions that you need. And that, like you said, the new millennium's struggling with that, the whole high power thing and God. And a lot of it is from what I've come across as I was doing some step work last night with a sponsee and my sponsor there. The guy, it's a lot of stigma with that because of what happened when they was a child.
Okay.
Uh, and things like that. But also with the dual diagnosis, because I went to Tranquility Woods, which is in Pasadena, Maryland. And so they
Okay.
did the dual diagnosis. And and now that I'm in school, I'm seeing I'm like, okay, so now I'm starting to understand this, but coming up with my kind of like my own formula, and even what has helped me, because like when I talk to people, I don't tell them like, look, I can't say what has worked for me will work for you, but here's some suggestions and recommendations, you know, God, recovery, you, then everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
including family, spouse, children,
Exactly.
colleagues, and everything.
100%.
And it's to this point now, like the Serenity Prayer. What's the first word in there?
God.
God.
Huh?
You know, and now if we could just, in addition to all the other types of like counseling, therapy, and different things like that,
Mhm.
because of course we got to meet people where they're at, right?
Right.
We got to meet them where they're at, and
100%.
once we meet them where they're at, and number one, with God, with love, embrace with love first, never changing,
Mhm.
accepting them who they are, where they're at. And it sounds like that's what I love hearing from. I ain't gonna call you old. I'm gonna say hearing from seasoned individuals as
That's
yourself.
okay. I
You
appreciate that. I
know,
have season. This is season. This is salt here, bro.
look, I just turned 45 and I'm still trying to get this. Lorenzo got more hair than me.
You'll get there, buddy. Live long enough, you'll get there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but like Mike was saying, I think it's good that they have both sides, that they can
Mhm.
offer that, and then they also have options available for a person who may not be so inclined towards that pathway.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So that it just encouraging multiple pathways of recovery so that it's all inclusive.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so I know one of the main questions that people are going to have when it comes to going to treatment in a place like Costa Rica is the insurance question. Now
Ah,
you explained to me a little bit.
yeah. So that's if there's a downside, that's the downside. There's no U.S. based insurance company going to pay a provider outside the country because providers outside the country can't get the JCO accreditation. That's what almost all insurance companies want. A joint
Mhm.
commission accreditation of healthcare organizations. They need that. But that's also why fees, pardon me, are very reasonable. If you look at the website, the sheet I sent you, the 30-day stay starts at, I think it's $5,600. And that's all inclusive. So talking about money,
Mhm.
it's got to be out there. It's got to be up front.
Yep.
If somebody average, this is a great alternative for them. As I mentioned, round trip airfare is about $600.
Mhm.
Um, and especially now, you might run into somebody who's had, it's got insurance, but they might be a 2 or 3 time recidivist, right? They've done it before. They can quote all the data. They've been to group. They know all the psychologic,
Mhm.
but they need a little longer length of stay. And this, I mean, it could be any profile, but it's usually somebody who's a little later on in life, late 30s,
Mhm.
probably jobs at risk, probably marriage is at risk, but it's not already gone. Could be
Mhm.
somebody who's got some criminal justice entanglements, right?
Mhm.
And they need more than 30 days. They need probably 60 to 90. And
Mhm.
then you're talking about out of pocket $15,000, which is a lot of money to someone shooting dope on the regular. But if someone's got resources, if you're doing an intervention, you pull family into it, you'll
Mhm.
sometimes find that you've got resources. And in your line of work,
Mhm.
you already know everyone who shows up's got to get help someplace, even if they only get a ride to a meeting,
Mhm.
even if they
Right.
only get a referral to the NA helpline.
Right.
You got to do what you can for them, what's within their means to be able to help themselves. The only insurance or third party payer that's working down here is the Veterans Administration.
Okay.
If they make a referral, a vet can come. There's some paperwork involved, and I'm working with a friend of mine who's a woman I know in the program. She's she's close. She's a LCSW, and she's a social worker with the VA in Atlanta. There's a program down here that's also taking patients. They're not getting paid too swiftly. I intend on improving that process because you can't put somebody in bed and not collect some money from their eating, right? They're taking up space and they're using your staff. So, yeah. So that's the deal with insurance. It can, and because of the weight, someone can put half down, reserve a bed, pay the other half before they come, and they'll be golden. So that's something to bear in mind.
So with the whole, because me being military dependent, so with the Veterans Administration insurance, do they still? I'm not sure, and maybe you can answer this question for me. Do they still use TRICARE?
Awesome question. I know about TRICARE. And I don't think for this, it's going to be TRICARE because TRICARE is mostly for medical issues like outpatient stuff. If you're in the VA system, you're being treated by the VA. It's not a TRICARE issue. It's a Veterans Administration issue. So I as I mentioned earlier, I ran some outpatient and inpatient programs, and we can take TRICARE. It doesn't pay worth a flip, but you can take it.
Right. Because what I've been learning and what I've been learning just, being and talking to other colleagues, just by talking to other colleagues, they were saying how when you go through TRICARE and like say you have an active duty server, military person,
right.
They charge more when you go outside of their network, but once you go within, it's lower. And my only thing is I'm thinking is the only reason why because of like what they have gone through and seen, which they can't talk about.
That's right.
At a regular, you know what I'm saying? So that's why the expense is so high in that, because I'm a part of also me and my family, like my mom, my sister, my brother, we're part of the Navy Star Gold, Gold Star Navy program.
Okay.
That's
so you lost someone in your family? Someone in your family died in the military, active duty?
Yeah, it was my father. I was saying that earlier. My father, he was a Master Chief. He was only 40 years old when he died by suicide.
Okay. All right. Okay. You did mention that. So that's how your family gets Gold Star status. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Yep.
Fine.
Well, that is great to know that you are able to help veterans in their situation. I'll definitely make note of that and keep that in mind when I deal with veterans.
And don't forget, someone may show up at a hospital. Let's pretend there's a hospital near you that charges $900 a day. I don't know what the costs are anymore. I don't think they've gone down in 20 years since the time I've done it, but it used to cost $1,100 a day, plus doctor's fees, plus such as MMPI and all this other stuff. There was a lot. Insurance companies were getting hurt by treatment programs. I'll be the first to admit that. But if you got a really high deductible and you got a big copay, you might come out of pocket $4,000 anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you're sitting down with someone and they're saying, hey, I want to use my insurance, try to find out how much is your insurance really going to cover. Well, the treatment program write that off. They're not supposed to. If the insurance company finds out the treatment program wrote off any of the copay, they get their reimbursement reduced proportionately. So they've got to at least have the patient sign a promissory note or collect some type of payment plan. Whether they actually act on it, another story. There's ways to, if you're creative as a hospital administrator, there's ways to get around that. Yeah. But so just bear that in mind. Someone going in for a $30,000 treatment stay might have to come out of their pocket $6,000.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Okay.
Don't know. So.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we deal with people from all different types of backgrounds and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, we work with the homeless population all the way. Seeing some people go out to California and Florida for their treatment services. So I like to have a bucket list, a resource bin full of treatment centers on each level of the scale. So I'm glad that
chances are really good. Those people in South Florida, Delray Beach, West Palm Beach, Boca Raton, was the people I either got clean with, was the people I either worked with, or they're people I sponsored.
Oh yeah,
promise you that.
Are you familiar with? I think her name is Alice Servino. She does the I think is it Dope Sick or Dopey Nation down in Florida. Yeah.
What's the name of her company?
So there's a TV show. It's on Vice TV, but it's called like Dope Sick or Dope Fiend Nation, one of them. But she's like a peer recovery specialist too, and she has like a TV show about the work that she does.
Huh, I don't think I know her. I haven't been in South Florida and in the acting in the community recovery community in some time. I moved to Orlando in 2005, and then in 2017 I moved to Georgia. But I'm still in touch with those people. A lot of them through Zoom meetings or just regularly staying in contact. But the face of this industry has changed so much. There was in the day there was no bloggers,
Yeah.
right? If I went on my sponsor, I had to page him. He wore this
Yeah.
thing on his belt called a beeper, and he
Oh
went to
wow.
this thing called a payphone, and he
Yeah.
puts this thing called a quarter in the payphone slot to call
Yeah.
me back. So different
Yeah.
deal, man. And
I,
his cell phone was this big. It was like it was an 8 pound thing.
yeah, I remember those from when I was a kid, a long time ago. But yeah, so it says that we're running out of time on the Zoom call. I guess I don't have that much time for the I think I have about 10 minutes left. But there was just one more question I have for you. I saw that there were 4 stages to your recovery program. And
Mhm.
and you said it can vary from 3 months to 90 days. So it's not just a 28-day program. It can be extended. So
Yeah.
so each phase is about, would you say 1 to 2 weeks or
Yeah. So if you're there for a 30-day stay, you're going to run through all 4 phases in 30 days. At beginning after detox is over.
okay.
Okay. If you extend it, the staff's going to know if they're going to want you to extend it after a couple of weeks. It's going to be on your needs and what your progress is. Some people are resistant to change. I'm sure you've seen that. Some people are really open to change. They express a need or a desire to engage in more change, and they ask, "Hey, can I stay longer?" So probably, if I had to gauge it out, I would probably say that um, running through phases 1, 2, and 3. Once you get to 3 and 4, that's where you're going to stay for a while. You're going to stay on that maintenance, right? The 12 steps says, you wake up, keep up, make up. Let's see, what is it? Wake up, clean up, make up, keep up. And so the keep up part is the last 3 steps. That's where you maintain your recovery. And when you're in phase 1, you're kind of waking up. And then you go through detox and you clean it up and you make amends and then you're making up. So that's how that goes. Yeah, apparently when you set your Zoom timer, that sometimes the meetings are metered. That's in your settings. So I'm watching the clock countdown too.
Oh, okay, good. You can see that too. Okay.
8:09, right?
All right. And you mentioned detox, so it's medically assisted detox, correct?
Yep. Sure.
All right.
They're not using any Suboxone. They're not using any naltrexone because honestly, those items aren't available in Costa Rica. If someone's coming down with an opiate problem, they're going to probably make them comfortable with some methadone, and then put them on some Librium, just kind of taping them off. If you're coming down with alcohol dependency, you're going to probably have some Librium and a good diet. If you're a speed freak or you're a cocaine addict,
Mhm.
which is my drug of choice, you need
Yeah.
a good night's sleep, a cold glass of milk, and a peanut butter sandwich,
Yeah.
and you'll be better. Not
Yeah.
much to do, but just calm people down. You want people to be comfortable when they're detoxing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. If you could just give me three of your favorite things about the treatment center, or three of like the best highlights about the treatment center, just to go ahead and kind of wrap things up a little bit. What would you
Oh,
say?
awesome. I think I can do this. So all institutions, whether it's a hospital or school, even a jail, right? Those are all institutions. They've got some basic components. They all have some things in common. I learned this in sociology when I was in high school. So the first thing would be the physical plant, right? It's got to be clean, it's got to be safe, and it's got to be stimulating. So either in Atenas or in San Jose, the finishes, the carpeting, the paint on the walls. You mentioned near you, there's some programs that show some wear and tear. This would not be the case here. And if you're in an environment that shows wear and tear, it actually affects your self-esteem. So self-esteem is boosted. The colors are light. The environment is pretty. And you can tell by looking at it that someone took the time to invest money, for example, in quartz countertops and all the right fixtures and plumbing. So you feel good about being in a place. I'm not saying you're going to be in the Ritz, but you're not going to be in a Days Inn either. Secondly, is the staff. And that's probably, if I had to gauge them by the order of importance, I should have mentioned staff first. Probably 80% are in recovery. They are all SMART certified. And do yourself a favor and take a look at the website again, and their staff. You're just going to see a lot of MDs and PhDs. You're going to see a lot of master's level people. You're going to see everybody with some type of chemical dependency counseling certificate. Some of them are brought from the States. Some are international, but they all are invested with their heart in this. So when they deliver a service, just like Jamel said, this is not a job for him. It's not an adventure for him. He's doing this because it's personal. I think you would find all the staff share that too. And then the last thing would be is the treatment philosophy. How do they approach the disease of addiction? And because they don't approach it with a cookie cutter mentality, they don't say, here's your big book, go sit in the corner, thank you for your $9,000 or your $5,000, whatever it is. And I've seen programs do that too. Oh, by the way, here's a list of meetings. Make sure you get a sponsor and bring me this meeting list every week. That's not really enough to cut it, I think, for a lot of people. The holistic approach and the mindset that in the end, everyone's going to lead this program and have to deal with life on life's terms. If that's your goal going into it, then you're more likely to achieve that goal once someone's exited the program. So that's my 120-second rundown of the three most favorite things. I was prepared for that question.
Mike, that was an amazing answer for your favorite 3 things about the treatment center. That was great. You hit the nail on the head with that one. That was good.
Darn, I missed that.
Nah,
it's on tape, bro. You can see it again.
Yeah, so you know how like when you play a video and then like they give you a clip in the beginning about like, from the video.
Yeah.
That'll be the clip from the beginning, what he just said.
That'll be the tease. That's right.
Yeah, that'll be
the tease. I love it.
Please.
It's gonna be like a Quentin Tarantino movie. Do the end first.
So Mike, could you tell people how to get in touch with the treatment center, maybe your contact information or who they should call, phone number, website?
I'd be happy to. It would be wise for everyone to contact me directly. My email address is admissions@Costa Rica Treatment Center.com. My telephone number is an Atlanta-based number. It's area code 404-840-8181. And I'm thinking that to the best, I also like to tell your audience that if they are interested in getting more information, it probably would be smart to reach out to you so that you or Jamel or anyone else that's on your team, you're eventually going to hire some more recovery coaches, reach out to you guys so that they are most efficiently guided to the process. That's it. Jamel's saying something, but I can't hear him.
Can you just tell me your email one more time? You said
admissions.
Admissions.
I'll give you the email.
Okay.
That's fine.
Admissions.
Yeah, I'll give you
At Costa Rica Treatment Center.com. Now, you can have somebody on your team just like flash that on the screen. Yeah, listen, guys, let me know when it's up on your website. I want to take a look at it, and I'm going to forward your link to the management team at the facility so that they can be also impressed and give me a gold star, not a gold star. Give me a pat on the back.
All right, it sounds great.
You, man. Thank you so much.
Yes,
sure thing. Pleasure was all mine. We do this anytime you want, okay?
All right. Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.